please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Amy, would you take roll call, please?
Yes, Mrs. Talby?
Here.
Mr. Gilbert?
Here.
Mr. Detzel?
Here.
Mr. Heather? Mrs. Slattery?
Here. We'd like to start with our mission statement. The Northwest Local School District will create a responsive learning community where all students are valued, challenged, and guided along a pathway to success. And we approve our agenda each meeting. I need a motion and a second to approve.
So moved. Second.
Passes 5-0.
All right, so we're starting tonight with two exciting presentations. We're going to start first with our RISE Award. The RISE Award is called Recognizing Inspirational School Employees Award. This actually was created by the Congress of the United States in 2019. It's overseen by the United States Department of Education and each state Department of Education. Each state picks a RISE Award winner, and that award winner then moves on to a national contest. And this year, the RISE Award winner for the state of Ohio is actually one of our district employees. So Diana Israel, who is an intervention assistant at Struble, has been awarded the statewide award for being inspirational. Anyone who knows her would use that word first and foremost to describe her. So she sees gaps and fills them. So she has started multiple clubs on her own at Struble Elementary. One of them is here to help explain why she is such a worthy recipient of this award. So I'm going to turn it over to Karen Hood, who is the principal at Struble, who is going to do a more in-depth introduction of Diana, and then we'll let Diana speak and introduce some of the student friends we have.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for having us. As Daryl said, I'm Karen Hood. I proudly serve as principal at Struble Elementary, and it's an honor to be here tonight with Diana Israel as the RISE Award winner. If I may, I'm going to read part of what I shared with the district for her nomination. Mrs. Israel serves as an intervention assistant at Struble Elementary in the Northwest Local School District. She supports students and teachers in grades 4 and 5 by working within the classroom and or pooling small groups for targeted skill work and or intervention. She's a leader within the building and is well respected by all students, staff members, and families. In addition, Ms. Israel serves as a building representative for two district teams, the Classified Employee Management Council and the Ohio Partnership for Excellent and Paraprofessional Preparation, to serve as a voice for all classified staff members. In 2022, Mrs. Israel was awarded the PTA Friend of Children Award and was named Struble's Classified Staff Member of the Year. Ms. Israel is the leader of Struble Elementary's Multicultural Club. Founded in 2022, the club's focus is to promote awareness and appreciation of diverse cultures. Students in grades 3 to 5 are selected through a nomination process and meet weekly after school to learn about different cultures and to plan for ways to share this information with Struble's students and staff members. Morning announcements, student presentations, a monthly cultural dress day, and an art auction are highlights that are highly anticipated and planned by student members. Mrs. Israel is a positive presence in the building and a valued member of our Struble Elementary and Northwest Local School District family, and I couldn't be prouder that you're here tonight to be celebrated.
Well, good evening, everyone. I am so glad to be here. First, I want to thank Mr. Yater and Ms. Hood. they have really supported me in everything that I wanted to do, and I know I tried to do a lot, but it's for the kids. It is an honor to get this award, the RISE Award, but the honor is really seeing these kids learn something about their culture.
Awesome, thank you.
So our
Before
first.
you get to your
Okay.
presentation, Lindsay has a small gift and token of our appreciation from the board and the district, just to celebrate you and say congratulations.
So well deserved.
Yeah, so the first presenter is Adriana Nance.
Hello, my name is Adriana Nance. I am a 5th grade student at Struble Elementary and a member of the Multicultural Club. The Multicultural Club is important so other 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders can learn about other cultures and continents. You also can learn new things that you never knew about different cultures. I also enjoy doing fun projects that Ms. Israel has in mind and getting to learn about the different diverse cultures. In the Multicultural Club, I have learned how to say hi and bye in the Asian language and how to learn how to say hi and how are you in the African language. I also learned how to make different art pieces from different cultures. And Miss Israel is an amazing person. She has very good ideas for projects that we do. We do continent boards, an art auction, culture slides, and we do virtual field trips during club. If you like to do projects in the Multicultural Club, is a club that you should join.
The next presenter is Ruby Prather.
Hello, my name is Ruby. I am a 3rd grade student at Struble Elementary and a member of the Multicultural Club. The Multicultural Club is important to me in the school because when I learn about a new culture, I can present it to the school and students can learn about the culture. I like being a member of the Multicultural Club because I can learn new things about cultures from other students who have a different culture than me. When I first did a presentation in front of a lot of people, I felt nervous, but when I got to show my slideshow, I felt a lot better because I got to show my work with other people.
The next presenter is Santino Strader.
Hello, my name is Santina Strader, and I am a 3rd grade student at Struble Elementary and a member of the Multicultural Club. The Multicultural Club is important to me so that I can look back at my culture and learn more about it. It is important to the school because you get to meet different people and interact with different kids. I like doing research on my culture and where I'm from. In the Multicultural Club, I learned that the Americans could not build the Panama Canal, so they asked the people of Panama to do it. Miss Israel is nice, smart, and always helpful. She is always there when we need her.
Great job. Can we ask you guys a couple questions? Is there any more presentations from any more kids?
The only thing I want to say is these are 3rd, 4th, and 5th
Yes,
graders.
they are very well spoken. You
Yes.
guys are amazing.
Yes, so they have done
Amazing.
a really good job at presenting. Like Ruby said, a lot of them were really shy, never presented before, but they got up there and during the year, they've done great.
Very
Excellent job. Did you want to
Yes.
say something else?
good. Can you tell us about the art auction and what that is?
The art auction is like normally after school, and our parents can come in and we make a whole bunch of different art pieces that's from our culture. like if you were Mexican, then you can make like a Mexican art piece or like a Mexican bowl. So like with your different cultures, you can like search up different art pieces and you can make them. And then our parents will, if like during the school days when we're being good, we'll get like money tickets that our parents use at our art auction. So, and then at the art auction, that's how much money our parents have to buy our art stuff, like our art pieces, and it's like a auction. Like you have to like go against people to get the different art.
Okay, awesome.
And you'll have like a different number in fake money.
Very good, yeah.
And you only get the money like when you're doing like good things at school when Miss Israel sees it.
Very good. All right. What about foods? Have you guys gotten to try any foods from other countries?
Not yet. What we're gonna do, usually at our art auction, we ask the families to bring in a cultural
Something,
dish.
yeah,
And then we get the sample.
awesome. All right. Very good. Well, thank you guys for being good leaders and your families for coming tonight and presenting. You guys did awesome. Very good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Israel, and thank you, Ms. Hood, for being here. And obviously, part of that inspirational quality is bringing out the best in people, as evidenced by these amazing students. So thank you for that.
We got to meet Miss Israel's family at the presentation at the school, and what an amazing family you have, by the way.
Thank you.
Beautiful family.
I didn't know. I didn't invite them tonight.
Your school's family here. Your school family is here, and we appreciate you. All right, so moving on to our next one, we have another recognition. So we'd like to recognize Chip Berquist. So Chip, if you'd mind coming up just so we could say a few words. Chip is retired as the Executive Director of Waycross Community Media. For many years, Chip has been the one who has been behind the camera and not in front of it. And so it's probably a little awkward to be in front of it.
Yep.
But he has probably seen as many graduations, sporting events, athletic events, academic events throughout the district as most parents and grandparents put together. And so the board wanted to bring Chip here just to say thank you for being part of the voice to amplify the positive things that are happening in the district, being the person behind the camera to make sure that the great things that were happening in the district were illustrated to a broad audience. And so we just wanted to say thank you, and Lindsay has a gift for you as well to say thank you as a token of our appreciation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It was an honor to work with the district through Waycross, and as you know, both of my sons graduated from Northwest High School, so I'm still involved with the sporting events over there as announcer and behind the scenes. So I plan to continue to do that in the future. So thank you very much.
Appreciate it. What are you doing with all your free time now?
A whole lot of nothing, basically. I do have a grandson that I watch a couple. That's my part-time job, is to watch him a couple days a week. But
Well,
other than
thank
that, a whole lot of nothing. So.
You were around so much, a lot of people didn't realize that you were not a staff member. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, I was here quite a bit, so it was
That's
fun.
true.
Yeah, so thank you.
Thank you,
You're a
Chip.
great man. Thank you for all your
Thank
time
you.
you give us.
Mr. Berquist, as well as the students, Ms. Israel, come on outside, families, if you all want to join.
Thank you, guys.
Speak better than I do. It's crazy. Really well.
Moving on, more recognition. The Student Achievement Liaison Report, Nancy?
Yeah, we have a few things to report tonight. We'll start with some academic achievement. Mrs. Yeager's first grade class at Struble Elementary has completed over 36,000 IXL questions and have mastered over 1,000 skills on the IXL this year. IXL is a website that covers math, language arts, social studies, science, and Spanish, and the site helps meet the Common Core state standards for K through 12. It has adaptive software that analyzes the student's response, so they can see the pattern of the student's answers, so they can see what areas they're excelling in and what areas they're struggling in. So we'd like to say congratulations to these students for expanding their knowledge and their dedication to academic improvement under the guidance of Mrs. Yeager. A great job by her and her class. Next, we have Colerain High School students. Many students qualified for the state DECA competition, and DECA stands for Distributive Education Clubs for America. And this is a nonprofit career technical student organization that is designed for students enrolled in marketing, business, and finance. And what it does is promote activities to develop leadership, teamwork skills, and individual growth. There are about over 5,000 students in Ohio that participate in the DECA program. And we have some students that are going to move on to the state level as they qualified by their regional scores. And we'll start with Maya Nevis is going for business services, Dakota Sutton for food marketing, Sarah Garvey for sports and entertainment, Chloe Craig for principles of business, Titus Abibi for principles of finance, and then we have two teams, Maddie Meyer and Ashley Heibel for business law and ethics team, and then we have Maddie Bratfish and Gracie Angelo for hospitality services team. So we want to congratulate them on their qualifying placement, and best of luck at state, and please cheer those students on when you see them and wish them well. Then we also have a lot of Colerain High School students that have qualified for the state BPA competition, and BPA stands for Business Professionals of America. And this is a co-curricular career tech organization for middle school, high school, and college business and tech program students. The students compete in more than 50 workplace skill assessment program events at regional, state, and national levels. So our students that will be participating at the state level are Laura Lee Allen for integrated applications, Dylan King for integrated applications, Alejandro Camarina for fundamental spreadsheets, Mikkel Carter for fundamental spreadsheets, Kayla Helmke for device configuration and troubleshooting, Quentin Trapp for device configuration and troubleshooting, Matthew Keller for computer security, Evan Phelps for computer security, and Sarah Garvey for advanced office systems, Madison Meyer for advanced word processing, Brielle Seafree for basic office systems, Gracie Angelo for business offices, or basic office systems as well. And then Ethan Cooper for C+ programming, Philip Roberts for C+ programming, Prasan Limbu for Java programming, Tracy Godwin for SQL database programming, Tanner Williams for Linux operating system fundamentals, Harrison Betcher for web design, Ethan Cooper for web design, Alejandro Camarina for human resource management, David Gonzalez for C programming, Sarah Garvey for ethics and professionalism, Hayden Danielson for extemporaneous speech, Rachel Keller for fundamental desktop publishing, William Fry for fundamental desktop publishing, Tay Love for global marketing, Molly Green for graphic design promotion, Chloe Craig for health administration procedures, and Sandra Bowles for health administration procedures. Then we also have two teams competing, and one is the website design team, which consists of Cameron Hamilton, Elijah Thompson, Jamari Jackson, and Caleb Mitchell. And then we have an administrative support team, which is Ashley Heibel, Elise Manis, Madison Bratfish, and Madison Meyer. So again, if you see them, congratulate them and wish them well at states. We also have Maya Nevis, who she's from Colerain High School, and she received the award from the Northwest Exchange Club for Student of the Month. And to be picked for this, it's based on a selection of academics, leadership, school activities, and community service. So quite an accomplishment for her. We also had two students who received Business Student of the Year Award from the Colerain Chamber of Commerce, and that is Kevin Gonzalez and Noah Denson, both from Northwest High School. And then we also have some citizenship awards to speak of. The monthly character award winners numbered 41 at Struble Elementary this past month. The students are honored with a breakfast in which they get to bring a family member or their guardian, and they receive a t-shirt and an award. And the students get this award for demonstrating behavior that meets the following tenets. 1, taking care of yourself, 2, taking care of others, and 3, taking care of your school. So we want to thank these students for demonstrating good citizenship, being beacons of light to their fellow students, And as we all know, good citizenship is the foundation of community, and these kids have been role models for their fellow students, so congratulate them. And just as one of the extracurricular activities, Montfort Heights Elementary has developed a chess club. There are 20 students in the chess club. They have just finished their in-school tournament, and now we'll move on to the citywide tournament, which will be at Paycor Stadium. And this has been made possible by the Montfort Heights Elementary PTA. So we want to thank those people for being involved and being supportive of our students, and best of luck to those kids at the chess tournament. And last, we have service, and that is the Montfort Heights Elementary PTA sponsored a Super Bowl canned food drive, and the charitable students there managed to collect 1,871 canned goods to share with community members in need. So we want to thank them for serving others in need and being a good example for their fellow students in their community. And the last thing we have is the Struble Care Cabinet, which has been in existence for 2 years. And it distributes hygiene products to 4th and 5th graders. And this year, so far, they've been able to distribute over 80 packets to help those in need. And that's it for today.
All right, congratulations to all those
Yeah.
students. Awesome. Thanks, Nancy. All right, Butler Tech update?
Yeah, just an update on, they've closed out the applications to go to the different, 4 locations, and 2,800 kids signed up for 1,250 spots. So we, as a board for Butler Tech, we realize that that's a problem. So what we're gonna be doing is we have 3 building operations going on at the same time, gonna start this summer, and that'll bring another 600 students into Butler Tech, and we won't have 1,600 kids being turned away. And this doesn't count at Northwestern Colerain,
Right.
this is just, they can apply and go to the other locations if they want. But that doesn't have anything to do with our kids in our district, or Hamilton, because Hamilton has their own Butler Tech classes like we do. But that just goes to show how much interest there is. So hopefully we can get these 3 building operations going. And they're talking for the 25-26 school year to have them done, the additions, so.
What are the highest popular categories that?
Right now, welding, because there is such a need for welding. And precision machining is right up there, IT, it's just, it's all across the board.
Yeah.
But every class, everything is full to the max. And then just on Wednesdays and Thursdays, Cafe Lee, the culinary,
Yeah.
they have lunch up there that you can go up there and make a reservation. And what a kid is like the manager, and so they have to put a menu out. They have to go out and buy the food. They have to get the kids in the class. So, you know, like if you want to be a server, you want to be a cook. A manager has to set that up for the whole week and run through it. And it's pretty cool. And they have different, like Mexican one week, French the next week, and German, and
I've seen some pictures of that.
yeah. So
Impressive.
that's on Wednesdays and Thursdays up at Cafe Lee. It's right up at D. Russell Lake.
Yeah, okay,
So.
great, thank you. All right, Chris, any legislative updates?
Nicole, just one thing. We've been talking about how it doesn't seem reasonable that Northwest is considered an upper income district. And I was doing some research on it, and I saw that in 2022, and Amy, if you can add anything to this, feel free. But the Ohio House, Senate, and then the governor signed the Fair School Funding Plan that it's going to be phased in over 6 years. So starting with 2023, which was, we're just into it, they're going to be looking at both property values and income. And so I'm not sure why our property values would make us, a high income district, because we have a few, but we're not, we don't have estates in our school district. And it also is going to raise the average state contribution this plan from $6,000 per student to $7,200 over 6 years. Well, with inflation, I'm not sure that's all that much. But Amy, can you add anything to this about this new?
Yes, so that we're currently phased in at 50%, and the plan actually made us a wealthier school district. We went from being 40% funded by the state to 32, and we're on a trajectory to being 25% funded by the state.
How could you make us?
So we have pockets of extreme wealth, so between our property values and then including the wealth from the 1040s that are filed, it makes us a wealthy suburban school district.
Wealthy.
It's the community, not the.
Yeah, it's who lives within our
Pockets, but-
district boundaries.
Okay. All right, well, thank you, Amy. And that's all I had.
All right,
Nicole.
well, thanks for looking into that. Thanks, Amy. All right, do we have any reports from employees?
Nothing tonight?
And no community cards?
So moving into the consent items, we'll start with human resources.
Thank you. We seek approval for the following: 5 resignations, 3 initial appointments, 3 change in status, and various supplemental items.
We have one donation tonight. Coleraine Women's Club donated books to the Montford Heights Elementary School Library. And we have several contracts, one special education, and several non-public contracts for Title I services.
So the superintendent recommends that the board approve the consent items as listed.
Need a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
Any questions or discussion? All right, passes 5-0. Thank you. Amy?
Good evening. For tonight, I'd ask the board to dispense with reading of and approve the special work session minutes from January 29th and the regular board meeting minutes from February 5th, as well as we have our January financial report. Our all funds balance is $72 million, and our general fund unreserved balance is down to $29 million. Our revenues fiscal year to date are at $56 million, or at 52% of our projections, and our expenditures are $65 million, or at 56% of our projections. Our investment weighted average return is 4.1%, and our list of monthly bills for the month are our routine monthly bills, as well as we pay for our insurance consultant, Waycross, some building cameras, counseling services, professional development, instructional coaching, gym floor repair, software licenses, track maintenance, baseball and softball scoreboards, and other auxiliary and grant fund payments. And finally, I ask the board to accept, approve, and appropriate the fund for Northwest High School was able to receive a $1,000 grant for their athletic equipment. With that, I ask the board to approve the fiscal consent items as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion, questions? All right, thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
So next we have our update to our master facility plan. So we have a few slides we'll kind of walk through just to make sure the community is aware of all the different changes that have been made. This has been an ongoing engagement process where we've done surveys, we've done engagement activities, we've been out at community events trying to get people to fill out surveys and to just do some marketing. We also have had a committee that's been meeting to really look at what the needs of the district are, what the kind of broad base of the community is asking for in terms of the schools. We've gone through work sessions with the board where we've really dug into what are the current conditions of our facilities, why does it cost so much to renovate versus to replace, what is necessary for a replacement versus renovation. And through all that conversation and discussion, we have a final master facility plan that we're seeking approval tonight for. This master facility plan is taking what we've already done with phase 1, which phase 1 was combining our 5 elementaries into the 3 new ones. So having Taylor, Struble, and Pleasant Run Elementary as 3 new ones. The next part of the master facility plan actually moves us to phase 2 and 3, which would be to move, which would be taking Colerain Elementary, and which is, we heard from our community, the oldest buildings need to be addressed. Obviously, that is our oldest building, but taking Colerain Elementary and preschool and combining that onto the current Houston site. There's land behind where we currently have our building, where we'd be able to build a new Colerain Elementary and preschool combined on that site. That actually frees up the corner of Pool Road, where we could actually, in Springdale, where we could demo Colerain Elementary and rebuild a new middle school on that site that would then combine White Oak and Colerain Middle on the Colerain Elementary site. We would then move to a new central high school that would be built on the Colerain High School site. That would be combining Northwest and Colerain into one new high school. And then once that happened, we would be able to rebuild on the Northwest High School site for a new Pleasant Run Middle School. So maximizing our current facilities to the best of our ability. The next few slides just show the fact that the feeders would still kind of continue to move into a clean feeder where the elementaries would go into a common high school, and then both middle schools would go into one central high school. We also have this kind of conceptual design for what the sites would look like. So on the Houston site, you can see the current building at the bottom of the screen. The gray boxes represent the site where the new building would be built. That is not what the building would look like. That's just an impression to show the scale of what it would take to build on that site, but it does fit on that site. It also gives us access off of Compton Road and back into the subdivision behind there. So it gives us multiple access points. Then on the high school site, you can see where the gray box P3 is. That is our current Colerain High School building, and P2 is our current Career Center. We would be building below that to have a new central high school. P2 is phase 2 because we would have to actually build the new building, open it, and then where the Career Center is, take down the Career Center and add that wing on. The rest of it would become parking and athletic facilities, so that would be the central high school. The site for the middle school, you can see currently that corner of Pool Road in Springdale would be the new larger middle school where White Oak and Colerain would be combined. We would still be able to utilize the field below that and have multiple access points to keep buses and cars separated, which is the yellow line and the white dotted line. And then finally, on the Pleasant Run Middle School piece, we would be able to build on the Northwest High School site. We would replace the main building with a new middle school, but obviously be a little bit larger because it's going to then feed all of the Taylor and Pleasant Run Elementary students into one site. And we'd be able to keep the athletic facilities for Pleasant Run Middle School as well as the Career Center, which we'd be able to repurpose for some alternative programming. So this is that plan that has gone through multiple incarnations. We appreciate the board having multiple work sessions to sit through and question and dig in and talk through all these options. So this is what we'd be submitting to the Ohio School Facilities Commission to have on file as our plan when we move forward with that. Any questions?
Darryl, for the record, the total cost, as I recall, was somewhere like $420 million, but the state will pay 45% of that.
So currently, we're in the state program with Ohio School Facilities Commission around ELP. That's the Expedited Local Partnership Program. That currently has us at earning credits for our current projects until we get to the point where the state co-funds a project. So while you're building leading up to that, you can earn credits that then get applied later. Our first phase, when we entered, our percent was around 22%. They calculate that percent different than they calculate the Fair School Funding Formula percent, so they don't match, which is confusing. We currently would qualify for a larger percent on current and future projects. There are some logistics that we're trying to work through with our state legislators that would allow us to capitalize on the new percent, because right now the rules would prohibit us from maximizing that without foregoing the credits we already have. So we're trying to work through some processes to make sure that we can maintain our current credits that we earned in phase one and maximize our funding opportunities moving forward. But then it would be more of a 45, 55% split with the state and the community. But we're working on that hopefully soon.
One follow-up question, Daryl. Just for information, if everything goes according to plan, when do you perceive the first levy being run, the bond issue to help fund this?
So once we have the plan on file with the state, then there can be ongoing conversation with the board about when we would like to have that put on the ballot for another ballot initiative, and we can actually talk about what that phasing would look like. Obviously, with this plan needing to vacate sites before we build, we would need to build Colerain Elementary and or Colerain High School in that next phase in order to be able to vacate the Pleasant Run or the Northwest High School site and the Colerain L site before we build those. So there are some inherent phasing designs in here, but once we get confirmation from the state in terms of the ELP credits and waiting for them to see when our number would come up for that co-funded project, once our number comes up, it kind of gives us a starting point where we have to go. Until that point, there's a bigger option for the board in terms of when. Once our number is called and we go into that co-funded phase, we only have a certain period of time to get the funding through a bond issue, or they move beyond us to the next school district. So once that our number is called, the time starts ticking. Until then, we have options and time.
But do you have any if you had to guess right now when that might be?
Because of the timing of when we would have to put resolutions in front, the first opportunity that we would have would be the fall for the November election, but then we would have to have resolutions passed by early summer. So it would be aggressive to think we could do it before the fall. Other than that, we'd be looking at next year. So it's really when the board feels comfortable that we have a plan and we have the funding opportunities from the state ironed down, and we have a clear message we can share with our community about what that next step is.
Thank you.
I just want to thank the whole team, the community members, parents, everybody here, teachers, principals that participated. I know that you guys have been meeting for, almost a year maybe or more, and just appreciate everybody's time coming up with all the options. And then just for people that weren't there, we'd meet, do a work session. You guys come back with different ideas, so really appreciate that. And a few things that I think are pluses to this plan. Being financially responsible to know that we need to go from 3 to 2 middle schools and from 2 to 1 high school. I know going to 1 high school will present a lot of challenges that we'll have to be very careful how we handle, and I think that those things will come, and I would ask the community for their input at that time on how we would handle those things. But for me, it's important that we have equity amongst all of our high school students for educational offerings, music, athletics, and I think this is a great opportunity for us to do that. I also think having the alternative programming building, possibly using the Career Center at Northwest for alternative programming, is a big win for those students that maybe is not a right fit to be in a 2,500 student school building. So I think that will give our students an opportunity to maybe have a smaller learning environment that they need. So just thank you again. There's a lot of positives to this. I know it's potentially a long way down the road, but I think that this is the right way to go. Would the principals be sending this out to, if this is approved tonight, then to their family members, just so they can kind of look at it and get a better view of it?
We'll do some district-wide communication on that so that we can kind of share, because this really is a district message around how we're moving forward as a district. And then we'll work with the buildings that are impacted on customized messages as a follow-up to make sure that people who are impacted understand what this will look like whenever it does happen down the road.
Okay, thank you. Anything else on that? I need a motion and a second to approve.
So moved. Second.
Passes 4-1.
Okay, so this evening, we're recommending a $20 million one-time transfer to our master facility plan fund because we have needs and we were able to build up our carryover due to the pandemic, staffing shortages, and the increase in tax revenue that is coming due to the reappraisal. So we're recommending to transfer or move $20 million from our general fund into our master facility plan fund to help offset the cost for our community for funds that we've already received from them and to put towards needs of the district. With that, I ask the board to approve the $20 million transfer as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or discussion for Amy? Okay, passes 5-0. Thanks, Amy.
And next, I ask, we're gonna need to revise our 5-year forecast. One, for the increase in property taxes due to the 2023 reappraisal, so that we can report that to the state, as well as incorporate the $20 million transfer. So those are the two changes for the 5-year forecast. And we'll file the plan with DO, which used to be the Department of Education. So with that, I ask the board to approve the revised 5-year forecast and assumptions or associated notes as listed.
Need a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
Okay, passes 5-0. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you.
All right, next, Brenda and Lori are, Brenda Miller, Director of Curriculum, and Lori Reilly, our Assistant Director of Curriculum, are going to share some information about Aaron's Law and the curriculum associated with that and what is required by the district in terms of education at the elementary level. So I'm going to turn it over to you guys.
Sure. Good evening. So we are here this evening to talk a little bit about Aaron's Law and also to share with you our department's recommendation for the resource we'd like to use to meet the requirements of this law for kindergarten through 6th grade. Amy, if you would, oh, never mind. Okay, so if you're not familiar with Aaron's Law was passed in the state of Ohio in December of 2022. It was signed by Governor DeWine in February of 2023, and it went into effect for this school year. This law requires that we provide annual staff training on sexual abuse prevention and the warning signs of abuse. It also requires that we teach age-appropriate sexual abuse prevention and violence prevention for students in grades K through 12. These plans have to be in place. We've been waiting for several things to happen before coming to you with this recommendation. And tonight we are here just to provide information. We're not asking for a decision. The reasons why the state of Ohio says that this law was put into place: one, to educate children in order to lessen occurrences of sexual abuse. So it's a prevention targeted piece of legislation. Couple facts that are cited in the conversation around this law: 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys are sexually abused by the age of 18 in the United States. 90% of the time, children that are being abused by someone that they know and trust. And so that is where the state is saying there's a responsibility for us in public education to provide information about to lead to prevention, as well as to direct students to resources and help if they find themselves in this type of situation. So the second arm of it is around resources and how to find help. So our plan as far as the staff training requirement is that we will deliver the content that's required through Public School Works. That is already our online safety training system. I believe Human Resources is planning to push out the required course in March, and it will be due for all staff, I believe, by mid-April, April 15th. This training is primarily focused on identifying signs that a child may be in an abuse situation. Obviously, as educators, we are mandatory reporters, and so this kind of walks through what is important for us to notice and look for and what we should do if we see something that's alarming to us. As far as the student training requirements, we've divided our plan in terms of a K-6 and a 7-12 requirement. We learned that in grades 7 through 12, we are only required to provide this training once in that grade band, and so we are choosing to do that through our health course. So we already have a unit around dating violence and sexual violence, and so it fits very nicely into the curriculum you've already adopted for our health course. We have switched to using in Edgenuity, we have switched to using the Healthy Living course, and so that course has the content that's required under this law. That content is actually in our scope and sequence for the health course. It occurred in the second week of February, and so students in our health course and their families were already notified, received the ability to opt out of this part of the curriculum, although it is not new. It is the content we have been teaching in our health course that has been approved by the board. So our plan would be moving forward, we would do that in each semester of the health course and meet the Aaron's Law requirement that way. As far as kindergarten through 6th grade, we are not seeking approval tonight, we're providing information, but we have a recommendation for a program that we believe will meet the requirements of the law. In kindergarten through 6th grade, this requirement is annual, so every year, kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, we have to provide 1 hour of instruction to meet the requirements of Aaron's Law. Parent communication will go out, of course, once we have board approval for the curriculum, with the option for parents and families to opt out. That is something that is in law, that option needs to be provided for both the 7-12 students and their families, as well as the K-6. Our anticipation is that we would provide this instruction for students probably starting in late April and into May, primarily through our school counselors. The program we're recommending for K-6 is called Fight Child Abuse. The program is put out by the Barbara Sinatra Children's Center Foundation. And we selected this program after looking at the 8 recommended options from the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce, ODU, because we know that those 8 programs meet the requirements of the law. We also felt like of the choices that they put out there, this program had a reasonable time commitment. Some of them were much longer. It also was of no cost. Obviously, this was an unfunded mandate, and so we wanted to be fiscally responsible, and so it was one of the options that did not have an associated cost with it. Another reason why we selected the Fight Child Abuse program to bring to you as a recommendation is that it is a program that is completely transparent for our families. The videos, the content are all available. People can go on and look at that. It also is user-friendly for our teachers and for our counselors. They can get on there and see it without having elaborate need to have accounts that are created and difficulty accessing the content. I think that at this point what we'd like to do is Lori's going to walk through, show you a little bit of a clip of what this instruction looks like and kind of talk through the key tenets of the program.
So as Brenda said, the Fight Child Abuse is a very transparent program. Anyone can go look at it. It is fightchildabuse.org. There's no accounts. It is a free resource for anyone who is interested. It is an animated series, which appealed to me when I was looking through some of these because I felt K-6 are babies, not that 4 or 5 aren't young, but this is a heavy topic for such a young group of students. So we wanted to make sure that it was completely appropriate. The Fight Child Abuse program, for K-3, they have a K-3 module and then a 4-6. The K-3 is broken down into 6 lessons that can very easily be combined into about 2 days of instructions, 2 30-minute sections, maybe 45. And the same with our 4-6. They actually have 7 lessons. Each lesson contains a short video, short meaning somewhere between 4 and 5 minutes tops, and then some discussion around it, possible activities if appropriate, just to reinforce. So all of these lessons can be combined. They all go together around some simple rules that the program's going to show you here in just a second. So let's watch the intro so you can kind of see how the program is laid out. Then I'll tell you a little bit more about the rules they kind of teach around. This is your K-3 intro lesson number 1.
Hello, everyone. I'm Miss Barbara. Today, we're going to talk about abuse. All children deserve to grow up happy and healthy. However, some children will face abuse in their lives. They'll be hurt or touched on private parts of their body by people they trust. We call these unsafe touches, and they are abuse. Unsafe touches are scary and confusing because they can seem playful or gentle. We're going to learn the difference between touches that are okay and touches that are unsafe. For children who experience unsafe touches from a friend or family member, it can be very hard to talk about it.
But we have to talk about it. I'm Sarah, and this is Lenny. We're here to help Miss Barbara show you that you can talk about it.
That's right. If you think someone has hurt you or touched you in a way they shouldn't, you need to tell a grown-up. Telling a grown-up is the first rule in stopping abuse.
But there are other rules too. The protect yourself rules. We use these rules to know unsafe situations when we see them, and to know how to get away if we need to.
We're going to share stories in which these rules are used to stop abuse and make sure it never happens again.
When we talk about a rule, it will pop up on the screen. Like this.
These stories aren't meant to be scary. We want you to know what abuse looks like and give you rules to protect yourself if you ever need to.
Yeah. If you ever find yourself in situations like these in real life, you can remember the rules. Then you'll know what to do and who to tell to stay safe.
So I wanted to review what they call their protect yourself rules. For K-3, there are 6 rules. Tell a grown-up, safe and unsafe touch, stranger safety, it doesn't matter who it is, shout, run, tell, and then hitting is wrong. Those are the themes for each lesson that they provide. For for 4-6, it's much similar. Just, however, they talk about it at a different level. Number 1, tell an adult, safe and unsafe touches, smart choices, it doesn't matter who it is, hitting is wrong, and tell them to stop. So what I did for you so you could kind of see the difference is I took each rule that they talk about in the lessons and broke it down so you could see the difference in how they present it in K-3 and how they present it in 4-6. For example, in number 1, it's very similar, except that It talks about the power that they have to say no, versus in grade 3, they're just talking about that people shouldn't touch you, and that you should tell an adult if someone is doing something to you. The second rule, for grade 4, 6, it starts talking about personal space, where for K3, it more is just about your body parts, which they define private body parts as any place that your bathing suit covers. So they refer to your bathing suit areas in the videos. 3, stranger safety and smart choices. So you start to see a little differentiation with grades 4 through 6. They start talking about to fourth through sixth graders, the power they have in their decision making, that they can make decisions that keep them safer, where in K3, it's just some very simple rules. Don't talk to strangers, things like that. Doesn't matter who it is exactly the same for both grades. That's just as an emphasis on exactly what it means. It doesn't matter who it is. Rule 5 is a little bit different. K3, they stick with the shout, run, and tell, which is your strategy if you're in a situation and something is happening to you. 4, 6 kind of skips that a little bit and goes right to hitting is wrong, and gets into a little bit more of the physical abuse. And Rule 6 is hitting is wrong for K3, and then tell them to stop. This gets into a lot of bullying. There is 2 lessons on bullying for 4, 6. One is regular bullying, one is cyberbullying. So those are kind of the differences between the 2 grade bands. And looking at this program, one reason that I'm recommending it to you is because it is very laid out. The videos are the videos. The lesson plans are very descriptive. It tells the counselors exactly what to say, what to ask, what some possible answers might be. It gives some possible suggested activities if they want to follow up. This is not a topic that anyone's super excited that we have to do or super comfortable that we have to do, including, I'm sure, our counselors. And so by having a program like this where the discussion is based upon the video, it allows for us to make sure that there's some consistent language that is being used and consistent messaging. It also just allows the folks that have to deliver this to feel a little bit more comfortable because they're just following a lesson plan that is provided to them. What kind of questions might you have?
So the counselors are going to be the ones that are going to be asking these questions to the children?
Yes.
And how much training are they going to have?
So obviously they have their counselor training. They will also have the additional hour training. We will walk them through the program.
So you think 1 hour of training that is going to make them qualified to do this?
The questions are not that deep. There's not that much of a discussion around it, especially in the K3 realm. It's 2 questions, maybe 3, about what would you do, or let's practice saying no really loud. Those are the types of activities that they're doing in the K3. Remember, kindergarten and 3rd grade all have the same lesson based upon this program, and then 4 through 6 all have the same lessons. So obviously we would look to see if there's a way we can differentiate it for kindergarten versus 3rd grade. There's activities in kindergarten where they can draw pictures of things. I don't think that would be appropriate for our 3rd grade. So there's opportunities where we would need to sit down and kind of make sure we're all on the same page. I also trust our counselors to give some input on what would be appropriate based on the lesson plan options that they provide.
And what are the parents' rights?
They can opt out.
They can opt out.
They can opt out?
Yeah.
Completely
So we'll be
opt out?
very transparent.
When you're questioning my kid, am I allowed to sit down while you question my kid? Or is this?
It's a class period.
Huh?
It's during a class period.
Okay.
It's not one-on-one, and they're not getting into, like, trying to elicit who has or has not been abusive.
I'm just saying,
They're
there's
gonna
going to be a lot of
avoid
parents
that,
that are not going to fly with this.
Yeah. We anticipate that there will probably be a lot of opt-outs.
I just want to say too, thank you for bringing this before, just asking. I appreciate all the work that you've done. So any frustration is not geared towards you.
We understand.
That video gave me the creeps. That is, no kindergarten knows what the word abuse means. For 20 years, have been teaching pre-K at church, and if you ask those kids what they're afraid of, one day it's the dark, the next day it's mom. You're gonna have hundreds of kids making up maybe that they've had something. I mean, how are you we're gonna be looking into false situations constantly, I would feel like. I don't know, I know this is mandated. Everybody needs to have a form that they sign, that they've received the opt-out, and that they've watched the video, and they know what their kids are about to be subjected to. This is home teaching, not something that should be taught in the school building, and I do not mean that in any way towards either of you. Please do not
I
take
understand.
that at all. This whole thing is, and I know there are kids that don't have the same home situation as mine, so I'm sure it may save someone, but this really is frustrating.
So as Brenda said, we would try to get the opt-outs at the end of April so that we had a plan moving forward before, well in
This year?
advance. Yes,
It's required this year.
it's required this year.
Along with the opt-out, I would ask that a form goes home that says that you watched the video at home and know what your child is going to be subjected to at school. I think that both need to go home, if it's possible.
Is there, a couple quick questions. What happens if we don't do this?
So one of the things that happens when legislators pass law like this is that if we opt out of this, then there could be consequences in terms of funding.
Could be. It could be, right? And the second one is, can this be something that we offer, but it be after school, that the parent can come with their child? Because I'll be honest, I would not want my kindergartner having this conversation with people. I mean, and again, like Nicole said, this isn't geared at anybody, but you guys are strangers. So my kid starts generating these questions. I don't want strangers answering these questions for my children. That is what mom and dad is for.
I would say that I don't mean to jump in on you, but that's why we would do the opt-out, and that's one of the benefits of this program, is that if a parent says, I want to have this conversation, they can opt out, and then they have access to these videos at home, so they can watch them at home. If they can say, fine, school, you do it. They can say, nope, I don't want my kid to have this information at all, or they could do it at home because they can log on to the website and get the same things we can.
I understand that, and the opt-out is great, but it's hair, teeth, and eyeballs when a kid brings something home from school that somebody has to fill out and bring back to school. It was like, where's your bag? What got sent home today? There's gonna be a decent percentage of students that the parents are never gonna see this opt-out, and they're gonna see it, and their parents could very easily not want them to see it, but the logistics of them opting out.
Well, I think that part too, just on I mean, you have to check your kid's backpack.
Oh, I understand that, but I mean, it is.
Yeah.
Can it be changed to an opt-in rather than an opt-out?
I believe the way that the law was written,
It's an opt-out.
it's an opt-out.
Because I watched the videos and looked at the coloring papers and the activities, and it's all very simplistic, very straightforward. But I agree, that's a home conversation rather than a school conversation. And I don't know why a parent wouldn't be willing to look at that with their kid at home and explain it to them and explain any words they don't know. I think it's good for them to know these things at whatever age they are.
I do worry about the false, like.
Right, that's
stories
why I think it's
is-
better, watch it with your kid at home and explain it to your kid.
And there will be multiple methods and times that we communicate before this happens. It's not gonna be goes home in your bag once, and if it comes back, great, and if not, there will be text messages that go out, email communication, paper communication. So we'll do multiple methods of trying to make sure every parent has this in the amount of time to be able to make a decision.
Can they do a text opt-out electronically?
I don't, because if they move, the text doesn't allow reply, our text system, but we would accept an email from a parent, a phone call. Like there are multiple ways that we'd be able to get the information from the parents.
I like the text.
But we'll be able to notify them, like, there's important information, please
every day there'll be
I wonder if there can
someone
be a
buying the bus
Google
for it.
form that they can opt out
We
on.
can do a Google form.
Can these, or will these videos be on our website? Hey, this is for parents K to 3, this is for parents 4 to 6. You need to look at this. This is something that your child's going to be taught. You can opt out if you don't want them to. So, I mean,
We
is that-
plan on being very transparent.
No, no, yeah, yeah, right.
We've
I'm
actually
just
already
saying, I
set
think
up
that
the
The more we
webpage.
can say,
Sure.
here it is, what do you think? Because I kind of worry about, a kindergartner or first grader coming in and making something up. Not that that hasn't happened before.
Or the amount of parents that are gonna say, and again, they should check this, it's not on the building, but of a kid that comes home and says, I learned about this or this, and then the phone calls that the principals are gonna have to deal with. Which again, that's on, the parents need to read what is sent home. But I just, again, thank you. This is not the responsibility of a school, and it's a responsibility, I understand, to be able to see, and even the middle school and high school, and to be able to pick up on those things, I'm sure of that, but to be teaching what it is to those young kids is really disheartening to me, so just as in every way possible that we can come up with to give people the opportunity to opt out of this, I think would be best.
If you have any other thoughts or questions or ideas, I'm always open.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you guys sharing so much information with us.
No problem.
really.
All right, so just a couple of things for the update this week. Nancy mentioned that we had some students who were recognized by the chamber at the awards dinner for the Business Students of the Year. The district was also up for an award at that for the Community Impact Award, so we appreciated being nominated for that. And then just wanted to take a moment and acknowledge that this week is Public School Week, so 1 week a year, there's kind of a week themed Public School Week to really just highlight and celebrate the benefits of public education. And so I think as a district, we have a lot to celebrate when we look at the amount of growth our students are having with reading, the opportunities they have, the opportunities that some of our staff, like Ms. Israel, are giving students outside of the classroom that really round out their educational experience. The athletic opportunities we have, the CCP courses, the partnership with Butler Tech, where our kids don't have to worry about getting closed out in this enrollment process at a campus up in Butler County. They have access on our site for our programs, and they don't get closed out of that. And so we have so much throughout our district that we can be proud of, and I encourage people this week to really take a moment, reflect on the benefits of public school. I'm a public school product, and so I think we can really take a moment, reflect on what public school has done for us and our families, and then celebrate that through different ways, whether it's conversation, whether it's social media, if that's your thing. But to be able to say thank you to our public schools for the service they provide to our students, our families, and our communities. That's it.
Thank you. All right, Chris, any comments?
Nicole, just wanted to remind Colerain graduates of the gala on Saturday, March the 16th. I'm under the impression there's about 20 tickets left of the 400. It's going to be a fun evening. Starts at 7:30, goes to 11. I'm not sure what's going on. I think there's DJ and food and champagne and all kinds of stuff. And testimonies. I believe you're giving one, Nicole. Yeah. And but the ticket sales are down to the wire. So if you want to go, you can go to wearecolerain.com. And at that website, there's information, and you can buy your tickets online. It's $75 a person or $140 per couple. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, I was at the last meeting. There are a lot of exciting things planned for that. So. All right, Jim?
I just wanted to thank Diane Israel for all the hard work she does at Struble. I mean, it's a great award that she got, and the kids were fabulous. I mean, those three are really good speakers. And thanks for the information on Aaron's Law. So, other than that, that's it.
Nancy?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, the highlight of the meeting for me was Adriana, Ruby, and Santino. They were adorable children and very well-spoken, very poised, and you can obviously see the impact that Miss Israel has on them and the respect they have for her.
Yeah, ditto that. It was kind of cool seeing little Santino's head,
Yeah.
just barely over the podium there. Diane Israel, what an amazing lady. I've spoken to a few people that work in the district whose children she's had, and they said the impact on her kids is just amazing. So, like I said, I got to meet her family, and what an amazing family, and you can tell what she's about has been embedded into her children and her family. Just want to thank Chip again. I can remember the first time I met Chip was after the Waycross board member candidate presentation, and I was horrendous. I walked out, I was like, this was, and he was so encouraging. He's like, everybody's bad like the first time. Don't worry about it. And he was just, and he's a very quiet guy, so for him to do that, you know, he has such a great heart. And whenever you see him up in the bleachers or wherever he's at filming, he's always got a smile on his face. And so I was really glad that we had an opportunity to acknowledge that. And I just wanted to say one thing about the Aaron Law. It just jumps right into it, doesn't it? Like, there's no introduction, it's just right into what they want to do, so we'll see what happens. Thanks.
Thank the students, and again, congratulations to Chip and Mrs. Israel. Thanks again to the entire team for the master facility and all the planning that's gone into that. And just thank you again to Lori and Brenda for coming and speaking.
All right, next we have a motion for executive session. We will move into executive session to consider employment of a public employee and to discuss the evaluation of the superintendent. With that, superintendent recommends the board approve the motion to move into executive session as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Passes 5-0. Thank you. Just a reminder that we will go to executive session when we return. No further business will be discussed. Thank you.